All right, guys, it is a beautiful day. Birds are chirping. Right around 70 degrees outside right now. Unsure what the water temp is because I do not have my Garmin on here yet. Only had this kayak out like 3 times so far, and 2 of those times were barely any time in the water. Really nice outside. We just got on the lake. Unfortunately, I had to work this morning, so couldn't get out first thing. It feels great out here. Sun shining, and I actually forgot my sunscreen, so may regret that at the end of the day. But we'll have a few hours out here. I think I'll go live for probably 30-40 minutes. I am fishing a little fun tournament with one of my friends. He's down in Texas, so we're gonna measure our best fish today. I have never measured fish while being live, so not sure how that works. Hey, Colin, thanks for joining, man. Yeah, the lakes are still frozen there in Michigan. We're actually, we've been thawed for a little while, but it has been crazy at work lately, so haven't got a chance to really go out at all. So today, me and Kayla are both on the water. And it's, I mean, it is straight gorgeous out here right now. We haven't had a bite yet, but we fished maybe 10 minutes before I went live, so hoping to change that. I'm not really in an area that I got into fish last spring up until a little bit later into the spring, closer to spawn time. So yeah, I had to work this morning. I was at work for the first few hours of the day, but put in for a half day. That way me and the wife could get out here and hit the water. We're doing a little fun tournament with my buddy, That Fishing Noob, down in Texas today, and Jeremy from Dad Fish Tackle. So me, Kayla, Jeremy, and Travis are all out today and just gonna have fun and try to measure our best fish. See if I can finally get on fish here in Indiana to start the year. Last year at this time, I know I'd been out quite a bit more than what I have this year. And at this time, I'd had multiple trips where I caught quite a few fish. But obviously this year, we've seen a lot more winter weather. Yeah, Colin, thank you for watching, man. I see Michael from Dad Life. Good luck out there, man. Are you fishing a tournament tomorrow, Michael? Yeah, I'm at Bluegrass today. We're on Loon Pit. This is my favorite. It's my favorite pit. It's the one that I really like to come to. Sugar Creek tournament tomorrow. Good luck out there, man. Start the year out strong. We're going to be fishing the tournament on bluegrass next week. I don't know what day we're going to fish yet. We are kind of thinking maybe the Monday, which is not what I generally do. I generally try to fish Thursday or Friday. I really like getting out to start it out, which, I mean, ends up being tough in the long run, because then you're just, at least if you're me, you're looking at the leaderboard the whole time the next several days and wondering wondering what people are going to get, especially if you get on some good fish. I mean, last year in the March tournament, I started out the tournament catching a dink, and then I caught an 18 and a 20 and a quarter within the first hour of the tournament, and I was like, oh man. And we ended up having a guy pass me up on big bass with like a 22 or something like that. But then, you know, the next several days, all I did was watch the leaderboard and see people fishing and think, well, is anyone going to pass me? What's going to happen? Right now, throwing my bladed jig from Dadfish Tackle. The lawnmower blade. Yeah, I saw that 23 and a quarter from Brian. Giant fish. I was just telling Kayla about that earlier. I also saw that, hey Josh, how's it going, man? I'll try to be as quiet as possible for you. I also saw that Glenn Landstrom got out the other day and put up over 90 inches. It's exciting to see those guys back in the tournaments this year. To me, fishing against some of these guys that are known to be really good makes it a lot of fun. Teresa, you're out fishing too. I think Kayla said that you were going to be out somewhere today. Thanks for joining. So if any of you guys haven't yet, jump over to Kayla's channel. What is it right now? Okay, it's called The Classy Kayaker. Her logo looks pretty similar to mine, and I think, is that what your picture is, your logo? It says Mrs. SWIO, but head over and give her a sub, please, because I would love for her to go live on the water with me some. When we're able to make it out here together, it would be a lot of fun if we could both be on a live stream. I did get her the Yak Attack phone mount as well, so we're able to both have our cameras sitting out like this. I don't know for sure if this is the perfect spot for the camera on my current kayak. Gonna probably try it here and try it in a couple other spots over the next few times I do a live, and just see how it turns out. I know I'm really working this jerkbait too fast right now. Got to make sure I give it that little bit longer pause. Yeah, it was supposed to be cloudy, and I mean, there are a few clouds in the sky, but that sun is shining bright today. I know we have some crazy weather coming in tomorrow night, so today was really our best chance to get out. I would like to get out at least one more time before the tournament next week. Teresa, do you know what day you're gonna fish next week yet? Kayla said Friday. She said she's been talking to you some. Right now we're thinking Monday for us. So I am currently in a Bonafide P127. For the past 4 years, I've been in a Vibe Seaghost. And man, I love that kayak. I know Vibe sometimes gets some hate, but I love that kayak. I will not be selling it. I'll be keeping it. It did awesome on the river for me last year. Now, some of the rivers that I go to, I'll be able to get this on too, but I know, yeah, I did tell Darren about it. He was definitely happy to hear it. Yeah, so some of the rivers I go to, I'll be able to get this on, but that Seaghost does awesome on the river. We were in the Current River in Missouri when it was up pretty high, and it handled really well. So I was very happy with it, and I definitely want to keep that kayak. Right now, I mean, I'm really enjoying this one. I love the pedal drive. The few times that we've been out up until today, it's been really, really windy. So fighting against the wind in a paddle kayak is so much more work than it is in a pedal drive. I knew it would be a game changer. I knew it would make a big difference, but I did not realize how big of a difference it was going to make until we went out there. I think the other day it was 15 mile an hour sustained with gusts in the 30s, and I could go against the wind without even getting winded. No pun intended. It gets real shallow right here, babe. I understand. I've envied a lot of my friends that have been out catching fish. I've been out a few times this year, but I have not caught a single fish yet. So I just messaged John Dalton earlier, and I was telling him the same thing. I'm pretty jealous right now. Josh says hi.
Hi, Josh.
Yeah, jump over and give her a subscribe. Her channel is now The Classy Kayaker, because she said
Because I kept getting called Mr.
Yeah, she kept getting called Mr. Sweo, the way her the way her name was, instead of Mrs. Sweo. And I think they missed that extra S in there.
I already have to explain my regular name.
Good morning, Granville. Yeah, she said she already has to explain her regular name, which I know you spelled it right on there, Josh, but so many people think it's Kala or Carla. I just, the other day I had to call about something. I don't even remember what it was. And they said, is this Calais? Is this for Calais? I said, no, it's Kayla. I said, but I'm sure that's who you're reading the name of right now. So yeah, she said instead of explaining her YouTube name, she would just change it to The Classy Kayaker. I do not have live scope. I don't see myself ever adding that, just to be honest. Hey Dave, good to have you on. I wouldn't mind having some side scan and you know, potentially making an upgrade to my fish finder. Right now I just have a Garmin Striker 4, and it's actually not even on the kayak with me because I just upgraded kayaks and haven't went through and put that on there. So I don't know when I'll add another unit, maybe sooner than later, but as of right now I'm just sticking with the Garmin. Kayla said, what lure should she throw? The water temps are still pretty cold, but it is sunny. A new canoe flint or an unlimited, man. I'm not sure what water you get in. Not sure what water you fish in, Colin. But unlimiteds are nice kayaks. Super stable. And I would say when it comes to motorizing a kayak, that's one of the top ones on my list. I've got a buddy that fishes out of one. He fishes out of one and he duck hunts out of one. They're very nice. What state? We're in Indiana. Josh said lipless crankbait, that is. And Colin said finesse swim bait. Right now it looks like she may have a flat-sided crank on. She's been throwing a spinner bait quite a bit. I know she had a jerk bait too, because I've seen her with that on. Yeah, and so she said she doesn't have confidence in a spinner bait, which, man, I hate to say it, I don't either. And I know they're such popular baits, and I know they work. And I will say the fish that I do catch with them are normally good fish. I just don't have confidence in a spinner bait. I'll throw it for hours and not get a single bite. And that's just not one that I've been able to build confidence in. And I say that, I'll throw it for hours on days that I'm getting bit. You know, days that I'm getting bit, I've thrown it quite a bit and not had luck, and then switch to something else and get on fish. Small, medium-sized lakes, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about, I think you said the Flint was the other one you were looking at. I don't know much about them. I know they look nice. I've seen them. But I know the Unlimiteds are sweet kayaks. Very, very stable. You know, they have a very open floor plan, so that's really cool. I'll say I've been wanting a pedal drive for, well, really, I've been wanting a pedal drive since I got my first fishing kayak, and just have kind of held off until I found the right one. We got a deal. I'm fishing in the Bonafide P127. My wife's fishing in a Old Town 106 PDL. And we got a deal on both the kayaks and a trailer. So a deal that we just couldn't pass up. And it just worked out for us. I was really interested in getting a native. I was wanting a native Titan. Great kayaks, but I was really wanting something with the propel drive. That was my biggest thing. I know Old Town's drive is super reliable also, but have heard nothing but great things on the propel drive. Yeah, man, I was at work this morning too. I worked for a few hours this morning, but it's been really nice, and I've had some fairly late days. Plus, we just recently revamped my wife's business, so haven't really got to get out much. And I said today was going to be the perfect day to get out and do some fishing. But I've got a lot of friends that have already been out catching fish lately, and I have not caught my first fish of the year, and I do not like that. So really hoping to change that this year, or change that today. Obviously I'll change that this year. I'm gonna catch fish. Hoping I can change that today. Where I'm at, there's some submerged timber, so I'm kind of taking my bladed jig off of that. Yeah, that's the really nice thing about the new canoe line, is they do make it to where they're customizable and versatile. It's cool that, you know, you can buy one for one of the kayaks and it could work for either model. Definitely have nothing negative to say on the new canoes. I don't know about motorizing. I probably will at some point. I would really like, if I do, I'm thinking like a Newport NK 180 or 300, having that rear motor versus the bow mount. Man, just listen to those birds right now, including the geese. They are so happy with this weather. So now, if we can just get the fish to be happy with this weather. Yeah, I totally understand going with a motorized kayak. Honestly, there was a long time that I said that it wasn't something I was ever interested in. I had no desire, and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, especially for some big lakes. We have a few big ones that our local tournament club will fish in, with the championship being at the biggest lake in Indiana, Lake Monroe. And last year, fishing at the championship, I had an awesome day one. I was in third place at the end of day one with big bass, and day two I couldn't catch a limit. So if I had caught a limit on day two, I would have had a really good shot at, you know, I would have without a doubt been top 5 and had a shot at potentially winning depending on my limit. But couldn't get on a limit. The bite changed so much from day one to day two. Day one and my pre-fishing day, I got on a really good bladed jig bite and caught a ton of fish on it, with my big bass actually being on a buzz bait. But day two, that bladed jig bite was almost non-existent. My pre-fishing day and day one, I mean, they were smacking the chatterbait. and the only fish I caught on one on day 2 were really, really soft bites. I switched over to a BFS crankbait, and even that they were just barely pecking at. But I know people got on to fish a lot more on day 2 than what anybody else had on day 1. So if I could have moved the locations, I think I would have still got on to fish and put together a limit. So having that ability to move from spot to spot a whole lot quicker is nice. Now, you know, the pedal drive is a huge upgrade from the paddle kayak, and my kayak was fast. My paddle kayak was fast, but still nothing like this. And I've put in a lot of miles. I've had tournaments that I've hit on a lake, hit 8 miles in an 8-hour tournament, which when you think about all the time spent fishing, 8 miles is a pretty good area to cover. And I did that a few times, but man, it's a lot of work, especially on windy days. My first ever actual tournament I fished, besides just a month long, we had winds that hitting 30-mile-an-hour gusts, and it was, I think, 34 degrees. It snowed on me, it rained on me, and it was brutally windy all day long. And I was out there paddling against it. Ended up catching one fish, and it was I think a 16.5 or something like that. And man, I was so happy with that one fish. You know, normally in a tournament, you're doing everything you can for 5 fish, and man, when I caught that one, it was like, I think it was like 5 hours into the 8-hour tournament, and I mean, pretty much had to give a shout for excitement just getting on a bass finally. So that kayak did well for me, but having the ability to pedal against the wind versus paddle makes a world of difference. What'd you say? Turtle. She loves turtles. We'll be making a video out of this day too, so if I don't get into anything on the live, this will be posted. I generally post my videos Mondays. Yeah, own built-in spot lock. Yeah, I generally post my videos on Mondays. Sometimes when I have a backlog of content, I'll post on Mondays and Fridays. Right now, I have a video that I've been working on editing, but again, life's been kind of crazy busy, so I haven't finished editing it yet, but I'm planning to post it Monday from our last trip on the water. I have all of my content, or all of my, I have all the footage from my camera off of the GoPro, but I've got to go through her day on the water and get her footage off and get it added. Debating on getting the flint. Yeah, man. Newports are awesome motors. I gave that a pause, and then all of a sudden started reeling and felt a little pullback. Unfortunately, I hung up on some of this submerged timber. I think my heart might have skipped a beat there for just a second, you know, thinking I might have actually had a bite. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice for sure having a motor that has spot lock on it, but I really like the fact of being able to get from place to place. You know, can't wait to get from place to place a little faster with that Newport. Yeah, Colin, I definitely appreciate you checking out what I have. I know you brought up Darren. I think you might have been commenting on the video that I did with him. Not 2 days ago, but last week on Tuesday, I was on the KFO show. Yeah, Newports are definitely light. I know when it comes to content that I put out, most of what I put out is fishing. I will do some reviews here and there. I think the last video I did was a walkthrough of my rod and reel combos. Then I've got one recently of our picking up these kayaks. Got walkthroughs of my Vibe. I did one 2 years ago and then did a follow-up one just about a month or two ago. Man, they should be biting. It's so nice out today. It's so nice out. I do have a Texas rig tied on, and I will probably throw that in a little bit. Guys, I am a power fisherman through and through. I say that like in all reality, I'm 2 years into bass fishing. I grew up cat fishing, and then the last, I guess, 15 years, I've been a crappie fisherman. But I decided a couple years back I wanted to get into bass fishing just for tournaments. I thought it would be fun. I mean, you guys that are watching, I'm sure that probably several of you, if you like kayak videos, probably several of you watch Greg Blanchard. His tournament videos are some of my favorite videos out there, and that's what got me to decide I wanted to try bass fishing and try tournaments. So started tournament fishing a couple years back and had a lot of fun with it, even though I was absolutely terrible at it. If you watch my first cross style bait should work. If you watch my first few videos, my first few tournaments especially, it was brutal. Most of my fishing was done with an ultralight with a crappie jig, and you'll catch bass on them. You catch a little bit of everything. Catch catfish on them, crappie, bluegill, a little bit of everything. But I really started figuring out bass fishing a lot more last year. My tournaments were a lot better. And I just expect them to be even better this year. I have no doubt I'm going to go out and catch fish. You know, today may still be a little tough. The water temps are still cool, but I still think we'll get on to fish today. But one more week of temps like this, and yeah, I know, but it's still going to be, we're going to see a lot of sunshine. It should be, next week I think the water temps will be up a little higher. Yes. And of course the wife has to argue with everything I say. That's how it goes. You guys that are married, you know how that goes. But yeah, I think the water temps will be a little bit warmer next week. I don't think we'll see a drastic change or anything, but looking forward to getting out. I will for sure have the Garmin hooked up by next week. Probably try to get it hooked up this weekend, because I would like to get out one more time before the tournament, or at least before my day of the tournament. There's a possibility that if I fish Monday, that I'll get out one day before then. Yeah, so my buddy Paul, which I haven't seen him comment on here yet today. Normally he does, so he's probably actually working today. She likes to give him a hard time. He knows one of her favorite spots to catch big bass. It's where she caught her PB last year. And he's giving her a hard time about knowing her spots, and she threatened him. He's right now, this year, he's got an anti-bullying campaign going on. She says it's all lies. Well, thanks, Michael. Good luck at the parent-teacher conference. I appreciate you joining, man. And seriously, good luck next week at the tournament. I'll be watching the standings for sure. There's another hang up. Last year out here, I did hook two muskie. Did not land either one of them. Hooked them both on BFS gear, which is my favorite way to fish. If you watch my videos, most of my fishing is done BFS. Yeah, so I hooked two muskie, did not land either one of them. I'm hoping to change that this year. I'm hoping to get on a muskie and potentially land one. There we go. So the bladed jig I'm throwing is from Dadfish Tackle. It's his lawnmower blade. Has a good thump to it. Last year, about mid-March was when I got on a bladed jig bite, and it carried through till I think about May, when I didn't get as many bites on it. And that was when I really switched up to a crankbait and caught a ton of fish on crankbait. But then I got on that bladed jig bite again in the fall too. Now I've got buddies that throw a bladed jig all year round. So really excited with this one. Excited to put this one to work and catch some fish on it. I am 100% for supporting small businesses. My wife's a small business owner, and anytime I can support a small business doing something I love, you know, like fishing, I'm gonna support them. So most of my lures you're gonna see are gonna be from 12 Oaks Custom, and then Dadfish Tackle. Then I also just placed a big order for some frogs from Tactical Fishing Company, which, again, small business. He's a veteran that owns it. I'm excited to check out those frogs. Wow. Yeah, that's awesome, man. 17-inch fish is a solid fish for sure. My wife last year, in one of my spots that I normally fish, caught one on top water that ended up being 21 1/4, I think is what it ended up measuring, and 5.5 pounds. So she actually holds the house PB. My big bass is 20 1/2, and it's right at 5 pounds. So one of my goals this year is to catch that house PB, and I would love to catch one over 6 pounds. That doesn't come real often here in Indiana, but I do have a friend who went out, I think it was yesterday, and caught one. And it was 23 and a half, or 23 and a quarter. 23 and a quarter inches. Giant bass for Indiana. I'm not sure what it weighed, but I'm sure it was probably over 7 pounds. Big and fat. Good looking fish. So I haven't thrown this yet, and I've got to at least tie it on and throw it some. I'll probably switch to a Texas rig here in a little bit, but this is my favorite lure. This is a Mega Bass Griffin knockoff that 12 Oaks Custom paints. It's the Griffin BFS size. And man, I catch a lot of fish on it. It's my favorite lure. Like I said, I hooked a couple muskie last year, and both of them were on this lure. Unfortunately, BFS and muskie doesn't really match up the best. One of them I almost landed. I had my net in the water and was going to scoop it, and it got out. He said she didn't talk to him on the way home. Yeah, I know how that goes. We always end up making it like a little fun competition when we're out here. We normally get mouthy. If you watch some of my videos, you know, since she's joined me on the water, the last few months of last year, I put a camera on her kayak also, and one of the most like fun things about it was getting the banter back and forth. I had a blast going through content and getting our banter back and forth and adding them to the video. We're at 43 minutes. I think I might go ahead and just stay on the live for an hour. Let's make it a full hour. So got about 15 more minutes, and then I'll kick off the live. But again, I'll keep recording. Hopefully put out a awesome video from today's day out. Right now I'm in a spot that has quite a bit of submerged timber, and just kind of running this crankbait right past it. Every once in a while I felt it kind of bump it. Yeah, like getting that back and forth just makes it so much more fun. She says, I don't say that at home. It's different on the water than it is at home, because normally at home it's like grumpy banter. Versus time on the water, we're both really having a fun time and just kind of mouthing off at each other. At home, she's mean to me. I can't help it. Yeah, that's awesome. Josh says he goes alone so he doesn't get outfished. Yeah. Sometimes I have to go alone because that same reason, man. I just don't know. You know, we're about to officially fish a grubby tournament together. And what if we go out and she outdoes me on this tournament, on her first ever tournament? I don't know. I might have to give up on it for a while. Now, I'm really excited to get out on the water with her, and it's going to be cool fishing a tournament together. Yeah, on the water, it's definitely all game. All's fair in love and war and fishing. I always like to get into who's going to get on the most fish and who's going to get the biggest fish. Yeah, we don't have pike in my area at all. I'd have to go quite a ways north to get on them. I would like to catch pike. I know people who live in areas that have a lot of them are normally like hating to catch pike. But for us that don't have that opportunity, I think it would be a blast. Throw that Texas rig, he says. All right, 2 more casts with the crankbait. Then I'll throw the Texas rig and slow things down a little. I just had something right there that didn't feel like submerged timber. And Josh, you know, 2 more casts means at least 3, right? Just like at the end of the day, when we say last cast, if you don't catch a fish on your last cast, you got to throw at least 2 more. And if you do catch a fish on your last cast, you got to throw at least 5 more. Just how it goes. It's part of fishing. Great Lakes Finesse dropped some new stuff. Yeah, they make some really cool lures. I really want to get some stuff from mule fishing too. He seems like a great guy. I love the fact that him and John Dalton are, you know, working together. They have the podcast together, and then him and John got together for that lure that they designed. I think it's the bluegrass bug, if I remember right. So I think that's really cool. I want to order some lures from them. Again, most of my stuff you're going to see is going to be from a small business. So supporting small businesses is a huge thing to me. And that's something that you'll hear on repeat most of the time when I talk. We have a family of 6, so, you know, my wife's small business helps provide for our family, and I like helping others the way that people have helped us. She's had a lot of support in her business. She has a lot of very loyal customers, and I like finding companies that I can do the same for them. You know, there are family people working at the big box stores, and they're getting paid their salaries through that, but my lure purchases are not paying anybody's salary out there, but they sure make a big difference in a smaller company. Yeah, I have I really like Pearl, and I have several of his lures in Pearl. Right now I'm fishing with one of the fish sticks, and that's what color it is, Pearl. My favorite lure from Dad Fish Tackle is the Imitator. If you've seen my bladed jig, that's what I actually have as a trailer on that. I've been throwing that as a trailer on all of my bladed jigs for really since I picked up my first pack. I tried it out and got into a really good bite with it, and I've stuck with it ever since. So when I'm fishing a more compact bladed jig, like the Mini Max or the lawnmower blade, his is a little bit more compact, which is my favorite kind of bladed jig. I'll pinch off the first like inch of it, but other than that, I'll fish it whole on a full-size chatterbait. Yeah, the white and pink lawnmower. So actually Kayla picked up a white and pink buzzbait, not chatterbait. She gets her chatterbait and buzzbait mixed up. She picked up a white and pink buzzbait from Mandingo Baits. They make some really cool buzzbaits. They have a blade inside of a blade. I did change rods. Got me. I got it. I'm listening to you, Josh. I'll probably put on a craw trailer too. I'll probably put on an imitator. Right now I've got fish stick on. I think I'll put on an imitator. Watermelon red. Wade Life says he's jealous. Man, it is a beautiful day. I had a view of forklifts earlier today too, so I know all about that view and how it looks. I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous out here today. We're in the 70s right now. Very little wind, and I know that can be a good and bad thing. Out here, I will say a little bit of wind normally makes a world of difference. I know some lakes, it seems like if it's glass calm, I have better luck on. Out here, I rarely have luck when there's, glassy water. But I'm having a good time out here, whether we end up getting into any or not. So, like I said, I'm gonna go live for a full hour, so we got 6 minutes left. So I need to put one on, right? Nice. Yeah, that Slayer LTE is a good looking kayak. I was just talking to somebody else about that one yesterday. They were talking about getting a kayak that was a little more throw and go, and that's what I said. I said, man, I've heard some really good things about that kayak, and it is a sweet looking one. You okay?
Yeah.
GoPro just went dead. I don't know if that was from overheating or if the battery ran out on it. On my chest mount, I just run the internal battery. If I do a rear mounted GoPro, I run an external, which hers is on rear mounted GoPro right now. And external. Obviously, if it's raining outside or super windy, I may run an internal on my rear mounted camera too. But most of the time, rear mounted, I run a external battery so it lasts longer. All right, Josh, I'll probably get a couple casts in with the imitator before we hit the full 60 minutes. And it sounds like you got a fish flopping around in there.
I dropped him in tackle box.
This is the imitator. I know a few people use this mold. I'm telling you, Dadfish tackle is so awesome. And the scents on these baits are so amazing. Like most baits, you smell them and they stink. These ones actually have a really good smell. Now, you know me, Texas rig is not something I'm good with. I'm learning. And sometimes I might need a little pressure to actually tie one on. What's happening?
Nothing.
Need help?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I was thinking about switching, but I don't know.
Think about. I mean, a jig's not a bad idea. I know.
But how do you fish them?
Well,
About that.
no. No.
Don't add a thing on it?
You can, yeah, you add a trailer to a jig, but add something like this to it. So, I don't know if you got any kind of chunk trailer or something that looks like a craw. That would be a good thing to add to a jig. Yep, cast it out, let it sit on the bottom, give it a bounce. No, that'll work for a jig. So jigs catch big fish normally. So normally a bigger, chunkier trailer is not a bad thing.
All right, Hunter, I'm using one of your lures. Don't let me down. No pressure.
She's supporting small business also. She's using a jig from our buddy Hunter over at Honey's Hideout. Huh? Yeah, I don't know what those trailers are, honestly. I know you have some imitators in peanut butter and jelly too, don't you? I thought that's what you picked out. I probably kept them or something. They are good looking lures. And that PB&J that Dadfish Tackle puts out is so awesome. Put it in the sunlight and it changes from that brownish color straight to that purple. Josh, if we get on them with craw trailers, I will send the video to you as soon as we finish it. All right, we're at an hour. Thank you guys for joining. It means a lot. Seriously, I really appreciate it. Colin, thanks for watching. Definitely check out some more of my videos and let me know what you think. My goal is this year to continue putting out better content. So each time out, I'm going to try to make it a little better. Appreciate you guys and have a great day.